Welcome back to the deep dive. Okay, so if you're constantly fighting that midday shine, that persistent gleam,
Ugh,
or if your makeup just seems to slide right off your face by lunchtime,
happens all the time.
or maybe you feel like your pores are basically the main event on your face, then yeah, this deep dive is definitely for you.
Absolutely.
We are diving into mastering the best skincare routine, specifically for oily skin. And our mission today, it's pretty crucial. We want to move past that generic advice that, frankly, often doesn't cut it.
Right. It often makes things worse.
We're going to nail down the essential sequence, point out the specific, hardworking ingredients that actually deliver results, and maybe most importantly, expose that one huge mistake that sabotages so many attempts to get that balanced, clear complexion.
And that mistake, 9 times out of 10, is being way too aggressive. Stripping the skin. We really want you to understand, oily skin isn't just bad skin. It's fundamentally characterized by your sebaceous glands producing too much sebum. So this overactivity typically means you'll see that shiny or greasy look, especially in the T-zone forehead, nose, chin. And that often leads to enlarged pores, clogged pores, and unfortunately, frequent breakouts.
Right. So the goal isn't just to dry everything out completely. That seems to be the common trap.
Exactly. That's the mistake.
We're aiming for regulation here. We want to kind of stop that panic cycle the skin gets into, prevent breakouts, and just improve the overall clarity and radiance. But using strategies that actually respect the skin barrier.
Respect is definitely the key word, because neglecting oily skin or treating it badly, it has real long-term consequences. It goes way beyond just a bit of shine.
Like what sort of things?
Well, we're talking about the potential for chronic acne, which can lead to scarring, pores that can become permanently dilated, stretched out, and persistent hyperpigmentation, those dark spots left after breakouts because of all the inflammation. Plus, and this is important, if you don't strategically incorporate protection like antioxidants, you could risk accelerated aging signs, even though the oil itself offers like a slight buffer against wrinkles initially.
So that distinction, managing the oil versus just stripping it away, that's critical. How does the care needed for oily skin really differ from, say, dry or sensitive skin? Because what helps dry skin can be a disaster for oily skin, right?
Oh, completely different ballgame. It's all about the texture of the products and the focus of the ingredients. An oily skin routine has to put a heavy emphasis on controlling oil and preventing acne. That means lightweight, oil-free formulas. And the absolute key filter for every single product you put on your face, it must be non-comedogenic.
Non-comedogenic, meaning?
It just means the products have been formulated specifically not to clog your pores. Simple as that. Dry skin needs those richer creams, emollients. Oily skin needs ingredients that dissolve oil and, help clear things out, but gently.
Okay, let's start building that foundation then. Our sources lay out a sequence that seems to work because it addresses the skin barrier first, then the oil. And consistency is key, right? Morning and night.
Non-negotiable.
All right, step 1. The journey starts with cleansing. And this isn't just like splashing water on your face.
Not at all.
You need an oil-free, non-comedogenic cleanser, something designed to really get rid of that excess sebum, the dirt, the pollution from the day. The sources suggest using warm water, first not hot, just warm, to help gently loosen debris in the pores.
Right.
Then massage the cleanser in, and always pat dry. No rubbing with the towel.
Yeah, patting is much gentler. And when you're looking at that ingredient list on the cleanser bottle, you want to see strategic acids. Salicylic acid, which is a BHA, is really the gold standard here. It's oil soluble, so it gets right into the pores to unclog them.
Okay.
Benzoyl peroxide is another strong option, really good for fighting the bacteria that cause acne. And for really heavy oil absorption, maybe sometimes look for cleansers with clay or charcoal, but use those more sparingly.
Okay, hold on. We just talked about not stripping the skin. How do we make sure these, heavy-hitting ingredients like salicylic acid or benzoyl peroxide in a cleanser don't cross that line, don't trigger that rebound oiliness?
That's an excellent question. It really comes down to dosage and contact time. Cleansers are wash-off products, right? So the active ingredients are only on your skin for maybe a minute, max.
Okay.
They do their job, then they're rinsed away. The real damage comes when you use super high concentrations of acids in products you leave on all day, or when you combine them with really harsh stripping alcohols. Big red flag. If your face feels tight, squeaky clean, or irritated after washing, you've gone too far. You need a gentler cleanser immediately.
Got it. So manage the actives, don't let them strip.
Mm.
Okay, once we've properly cleansed, prepare the skin, the next essential step for clarity has to be regular exfoliation.
Yes, this is your texture improving step. But big, but only once or twice a week, max.
Not daily.
Definitely not daily for most people with oily skin. Exfoliation is crucial for getting rid of those dead skin cells and excess oil buildup. It dramatically improves skin texture over time and helps keep pores from getting congested. And for oily skin types, we strongly, strongly recommend chemical exfoliants over physical scrubs.
Really, chemical sounds harsher. Like chemical over physical.
It sounds harsher, but they're actually often gentler if you use the right ones correctly.
Yeah.
Chemical exfoliants work by dissolving the glue that holds dead skin cells together. They don't rely on physical abrasion. BHAs, specifically salicylic acid again, are your best friend here because they get into the pore and dissolve the oil clog.
Oh, okay.
AHAs, like glycolic or lactic acid, work more on the surface, great for brightness and smoothing texture. If you absolutely feel you must use a physical scrub sometimes, it needs to be incredibly fine-grained and used with almost no pressure. Otherwise, you're just causing tiny tears and irritation.
Micro tears. Ouch. Okay, chemical it is, used sparingly. Next up, toning. Morning and night after cleansing. This step seems to have changed a lot over the years.
It really has. It's not just about balancing TH anymore, although that's still part of it. Today, toning serves like two main functions. First, it removes any last traces of cleanser or maybe hard water residue. But second, and more importantly for oily skin, it delivers specific, lightweight active ingredients that start regulating oil right away.
Like what kind of ingredients?
Look for things like witch hazel, which is great for oil control, maybe more salicylic acid for pore maintenance, glycerin for a bit of hydration without oil, and antioxidants like green tea extract are fantastic. The absolute cardinal rule here, though, strictly avoid toners that are loaded with alcohol. SD alcohol, denatured alcohol.
Why? They feel like they're drying the oil.
They are drying the oil, but way too much. They strip the skin, cause inflammation, and you guessed it, trigger that compensatory oil production. Big mistake.
Avoid the alcohol burn.
Got it.
Okay, that sets us up perfectly for the serum step. AM and PM. This is where you deliver the real power hitters, right? The concentrated ingredients targeting those core issues, oiliness, breakouts, visible pores.
Exactly. This is your targeted treatment step. When you're looking for serums for oily skin, the sources really highlight a few key players. Niacinamide, which is vitamin B3, is an absolute superstar.
Why niacinamide?
Because it actually communicates with your sebaceous glands. It helps regulate or sort of normalize sebum production over time. And it's fantastic for visibly minimizing the appearance of enlarged pores. Great all-rounder.
Okay, niacinamide. What about for anti-aging or dealing with clogged pores long-term?
That's where retinol vitamin A comes in. Everyone knows it for anti-aging wrinkles.
Right.
But its primary benefit for oily, acne-prone skin is how it speeds up cell turnover. This rapid shedding prevents the buildup of dead cells and oil plugs inside the pore, which is a major cause of congestion and breakouts.
So faster cell turnover means clearer pores.
Precisely. And then for active blemishes, maybe look for spot treatments or serums that contain tea tree oil. It has good antimicrobial properties.
Okay, serum is the treatment step. Now we hit that step that feels wrong, but apparently isn't. Moisturizer. AM and PM. I know for years my gut instinct was always, my skin's oily, why add more moisture? Less input equals less output, right?
Uh-huh. And you're telling me that logic completely backfires.
It is probably the single most common mistake people with oily skin make, and yes, it absolutely sabotages their efforts.
Think about it. You cleanse, maybe you use acids, your skin loses some moisture and lipids. It senses dehydration.
Okay.
It's emergency response. Compensate for that dryness by telling the sebaceous glands to kick into overdrive.
Oh, wow.
Result, you end up even more oily than when you started. Wow. Okay, that might be the most critical piece of advice today. So you must moisturize. But obviously the type of product is everything.
Absolutely everything. You need lightweight formulations, definitely oil-free, and strictly non-comedogenic. Think gel moisturizers, water creams, light lotions, things that sink in quickly.
And ingredients to look for in those. Hyaluronic acid is fantastic. It draws moisture into the skin without adding any oil or grease itself. Niacinamide can show up here again. It's great in moisturizers too. Aloe vera is lovely for soothing and light hydration.
Light read, oil-free, non-comedogenic. Got it. And the final step, the morning only essential. Sunscreen.
Non-negotiable. Every single morning, rain or shine, indoors or out.
Why so critical for oily skin specifically?
Because UV damage does a couple of nasty things. It actually worsens existing oiliness over time. It definitely makes breakouts worse. And it dramatically accelerates how dark those post-acne marks, that hyperpigmentation get, and how long they stick around.
Okay, makes sense. The sources say SPF 30 or higher. Oil-free, non-comedogenic again. But for listeners who just hate that greasy, heavy sunscreen feeling,
Yeah.
what can they look for in a formula? That's a huge barrier for people.
It is a very common complaint. Look specifically for sunscreens labeled mattifying or that contain ingredients like silica. Silica helps absorb excess shine throughout the day. Alternatively, mineral sunscreens, the ones using zinc oxide or titanium dioxide as the main filters, often have a naturally more matte finish than many older chemical formulas. Though honestly, modern chemical sunscreens have gotten so much better texture-wise. Lots of elegant, lightweight options now.
Good to know. So options exist. All right, that's the core daily routine.
Mhm.
Now, what about the extra credit stuff? Midday touch-ups or weekly boosts?
Yeah, there are definitely helpful additions. For a deeper clean, maybe once or twice a week, use a clay-based face mask. Clays like bentonite or kaolin or masks with charcoal are excellent at just soaking up excess oil and making pores look temporarily tighter, more refined.
Like a vacuum cleaner for pores.
Yeah, sort of. You could also consider incorporating stronger at-home chemical peels, maybe once or twice a month. Higher concentrations of AHAs or BHAs for a real refinement boost. And for that midday shine emergency, blotting papers are your best friend. Quick, easy, portable. They lift the oil without disturbing makeup too much.
Simple but effective.
Yeah.
Okay, we've stressed avoiding that rebound effect, but let's really hammer home the biggest pitfalls people fall into. I imagine it's easy to get overzealous when you start seeing some progress, right?
Absolutely. And that enthusiasm leads directly to the two cardinal sins we see mentioned everywhere: over-cleansing and over-exfoliating.
Washing your face 4 times a day, scrubbing like crazy.
Exactly. Trying to wash away the oil multiple times a day or using that exfoliant every single day, it's totally counterproductive. Both actions just aggressively strip the skin's natural protective barrier, the lipid barrier, that causes irritation, inflammation,
And triggers a panic response.
and triggers that vicious cycle where the sebaceous glands panic and pump out even more oil to compensate. You're literally making your own problem worse by being too aggressive.
Wow. Less is more sometimes.
Definitely when it comes to frequency and harshness. Choosing the wrong products too heavy, poor clogging creams, those harsh alcohol toners we mentioned, also big mistakes.
So we've covered products, application. What about the inside-out connection? Lifestyle, specifically diet. Does what we eat really impact oil production?
The connection is pretty clear, and it seems largely hormonal. Diets that are high in refined carbohydrates, white bread, sugary stuff, and maybe certain unhealthy fats, they can mess with your hormone levels.
How so?
Well, high glycemic foods, the sugary carbs, can cause your insulin levels to spike. And insulin can actually directly stimulate the sebaceous glands. It basically turns up the oil production dial.
So it's not just greasy food makes greasy skin, it's more about the hormonal signal.
It seems to be much more about that hormonal signaling, yeah. Reducing those insulin spikes can help.
Which means cutting back on processed foods, sugary drinks and snacks, maybe even high amounts of certain dairy for some people could make a real difference in shine levels.
It could. And conversely, eating a diet rich in antioxidants, lots of colorful fruits, vegetables helps manage oil indirectly by reducing overall inflammation in the body.
Makes sense. Okay, finally, we have to acknowledge limits. When does DIY stop working? When should someone stop experimenting and actually call a dermatologist?
Good question. If your acne is really persistent, like if it's deep, painful cystic acne, or if it just doesn't respond at all after months of consistent, diligent use of those good OTC ingredients like salicylic acid, benzoyl peroxide, niacinamide.
Time for the pros.
Yeah, it's time for backup. Same goes if the excessive shine just continues relentlessly, no matter what mattifying products you try. A dermatologist has access to prescription-strength treatments, like stronger retinoids, maybe oral medications, that can make a huge difference when OTC isn't enough.
Okay, don't suffer needlessly.
Exactly. Ultimately, the big takeaway here is that mastering oily skin is all about finding balance and being strategic. It's not about waging war on your face.
Right?
It requires consistency, patience, and using the right kind of products, lightweight, non-comedogenic, packed with the right active ingredients to regulate things, not just strip them bare.
Balance, not stripping. Consistency is key. And as we wrap up this deep dive, here's something for you to maybe mull over. We know oily skin often looks plumper and might show fewer fine lines, at least initially, compared to dry skin. That's the slight upside. But given that excess oil often goes hand in hand with inflammation, breakouts, clogged pores, how does strategically using those powerful anti-aging and anti-acne ingredients like retinol, niacinamide, vitamin C become doubly important for oily skin types?
Interesting angle. It's like They let you tackle the long-term problems that the oil causes or contributes to, like the post-inflammatory marks, the texture issues from congestion, while also giving you that proven powerhouse protection against wrinkles and sun damage that the oil alone really can't guarantee long term. So you're leveraging the best ingredients to fight both the current battles, like breakouts, and secure the future health and appearance of your skin.
A truly strategic approach for that balanced, clear complexion we're all aiming for. Thank you for sharing all that insight from the sources today.
My pleasure.
And thank you all for joining us. We'll catch you on the next Deep Dive.